lovely humans, and welcome back for another video. I am so excited for this video. I'm just like so excited to sit down with you guys, just have a chat, some girl time, to get ready with me, put on a little bit of makeup. I actually realized I really like putting on makeup. Like there's just something so fun about the process, and so I just thought I would do a little sit down chat. I put actually a little poll thing, a little question box thing on my story a few days ago, asking you guys, was there any questions you had, any advice you wanted, and just kind of anything and everything you guys wanted to talk about or chat about or whatever, basically whatever you wanted. And the majority of you guys actually gave me asking for advice on things, which I was like, guys, thank you. I do not think I was someone who you'd ask for advice from, but I am totally here to give it. Love a bit of that. So there's basically going to be like an agony aunt kind of thing, sort of, as we kind of get ready. To be honest, whether I'm good or not giving advice, to be honest, I don't know. I feel like I am, but I'm no psychologist, although I did do a few psychology modules at college. Just saying. So I think I know basically just about there's something about the psychology of attraction and love. So interesting. Whether I learned anything actually useful, probably not. The main thing I remember learning was that we are more attracted to people with symmetrical faces, which most of us don't have. But anyway, let's get started. I'm going to start my makeup. So I've already moisturized and stuff, and I put on a primer as well. I kind of did it gradually through the morning. It's nearly 12 o'clock already, and I still not. I'm in my loungewear. This is my H&M one. I love it so much. Anyway, I just have my blender. And I'm just gonna put on, I've still been using the Ordinary foundation, and it's grand. I actually, in regards to makeup, I recently have been doing a lot of research about makeup and just trying to kind of learn a bit more about it, because honestly it's one of those areas that I actually just don't have a lot of knowledge. I really like doing makeup. I think I'm all right at doing everyday makeup, and I don't think my makeup necessarily ever looks really bad. Maybe that's a really big statement to make, and you guys are like, yeah, it does look bad all the time, Debs. But I like to think that I'm all right at doing my makeup, but I don't think I have a lot of knowledge when it comes to makeup, but also a lot of knowledge when it comes to makeup brands. It's the same kind of skincare. I don't really have a lot of knowledge about it all. And I really want to learn more. So I've been doing a lot of research, and I'm thinking of doing actually a video at some point, maybe about when I get a whole load of brand new different products, and do a whole face of new products. Does that make sense? So at the moment, I basically only use drugstore products, which I know drugstore. Why do I say drugstore? I feel like it's the thing you say is drugstore. It's drugstore makeup. So at the moment, I basically only use drugstore makeup, and it's grand. It does the job for me, and so part of me has never really bothered to kind of look anywhere else, but I do realize that there's so much more out there. And so I've been doing a lot of research and just looking at influencers that I follow and what they use, what they suggest. It's so hard though, because obviously a lot of the stuff they use is sometimes just PR products and stuff, so it's kind of hard to know is it something they really love, but obviously a lot of the time they tell you if they love it. So I got my coffee. If you don't have your coffee or your tea or your glass of wine, if it's an evening or whatever it is, come join me for a cheeky wee girl chat, bit of drinks. Oh, I actually would love to go out for drinks. That'd be so nice. Anyway, if there are any specific products or else brands of makeup you really love, then please let me know. I'm thinking of, I'm kind of doing a bit of a scout through Look Fantastic. It seems to have such a wide variety of brands, and specifically in the makeup and skincare kind of area, but it's just obviously so hard to get ones that are affordable, and knowing which ones to get so you're not end up wasting your money and all that kind of stuff is just so hard to know. But anyway, let's get on to actual chats. So let me see what the first one was about. I know there's one about relationships. Oh yeah, it was kind of just your best relationship advice, and I feel like relationships are such a, not a funny one, but they're a really hard one, because every relationship is so different from another relationship, and in some ways there's not one kind of fits all, if that makes sense, in regards to relationship. But I suppose there is those things to help you in relationships, I guess. For you guys who maybe you're new or you don't know, I'm married. I'm actually not even wearing my rings, that's terrible. I'm married though. I've been married for nearly 3 years actually, which is so crazy. It makes me feel so old. I'm still young, I promise. And and we've been together for 5.5 years, about 5.5 years now. So I'm in a long-term relationship, I guess you would say. So I suppose I technically should have good advice, shouldn't I? And there was actually a question also on cheating and stuff as well, so I might actually just like kind of interlap them all. But yeah, relationships are just a funny one, because I feel like for different people, like relationships are so different, and they have different experiences, and like the different experiences you have within relationships also affect your future relationships. But actually in relation to that and cheating and stuff, like I feel like you have to really try separate your relationships from each other. Like I think you definitely can learn a lot from relationships. Like I was in my only real other kind of serious relationship, I'm gonna say, this is just the Revolution one. I've used it for ages. I'm nearly out though, so I need to get more. But I actually really want to try the Rodial Banana Low Lighter. I know it's not a concealer, but I really want to try it because I have really dark under eyes. But anyway, yeah, so in regards to cheating and stuff, like I am so fortunate. I've never been cheated on, which I'm very fortunate about. And obviously it's kind of one of those things you're like, I shouldn't have to be fortunate about that. It should just like not be a thing that happens. But anyway, so I've luckily never. But I think one of the biggest things with cheating, obviously there's like the initial like horribleness of like the pain of that, and like being cheated on is, I'm sure, the most awful feeling. But I think a lot of the time when it comes to cheating, it's annoying because it actually doesn't only affect that relationship and obviously ruin that relationship or whatever, or cause issues within that relationship or whatever. Obviously depends on what happens within that relationship after. Like I know there are situations where people have relationships, someone cheats, and they can get past that and they can go on to have a happy, healthy relationship post that. But I know obviously a lot of the time it leads to like the end of relationships. But I think a lot of the time, and obviously when there's cheating with the relationship and then it leads to an end, that's probably usually a good thing. But I think where the issue is a lot of the time then there is an effect on your next relationship. And I think that's really sad, because it's sad that like this negative experience with someone else who did treat you bad can affect a really good experience with someone who might treat you really well. And like that's so sad to think about. But I can completely see how that would happen. So I think in relation to like advice for like if you've been cheated on maybe, and then you're going forward into a relationship where you haven't been cheated on anything, like the person treats you well, but it's so easy to bring that baggage into it. I actually read this at some point. It was specifically about marriage, but I think it can be used for any relationship. And it was kind of like, no like relationship or marriage has baggage, as they say, like has issues or anything, but it's actually like the people that go into the marriage or into the relationship that have issues, and they bring their baggage into the relationship, if that makes sense. So a lot of marriages, they don't per se, or relationships don't have issues in themselves, but it's the issues that the people bring into it. So it's actually dealing with those issues and that baggage that you have from previous relationships is definitely really, really important to being able to, I suppose, have a healthy relationship for future relationships. Like I had basically one other kind of serious relationship before Darren, and although actually in fairness, looking back and now, like I know I learned a lot from it. I learned mainly actually how I deserve to be treated, and how actually I deserve to be treated well. And I think that was a really positive thing. Like there was a lot of negatives to the relationship. It was a really unhealthy relationship. It was really toxic and it wasn't a good relationship. But I did learn that. And so then when Darren treated me well, I could recognize that, and I could see that actually this is good, this is right, like this is how I should be treated. And I think in that way is a really, really positive thing. So although I think negatives comes from relationships for sure, like taking the positives of the things that you learned out of something, whether that's that you learned from how you were treated badly, or even if it's that you treated someone badly and you're like, actually I can see that I treated that person really badly, and I can now grow from that and be a better person for the future. Because I think it's really easy to say like, oh, like once a cheater, always a cheater. And to be honest, there were times in the past that I do think I thought that, but I actually don't necessarily think that's true. I think people do have the capacity to change, and I think immaturity and mainly immaturity really can really affect relationships, and can really like, yeah, it can have a really bad effect on relationships, which is obviously a struggle when you're younger and stuff. But anyway, in regards to my best relationship advice, though, I feel like I went on a really random rant there. I do think relates back to that though. I think the best relationship advice I have is to actually take every relationship like from the start, and not like reflect any things from past or from also from like movies and stuff. Like don't reflect like your expectations into it, because that is sometimes, it's either past hurt or unrealistic expectations that cause issues in relationships. Like I want to say that 100% of the time. No, let's say 99% of the time, I think that is it. It's either having issues with your past, whether you've been cheated on and you now assume that the other your next, say, boyfriend or whatever, or girlfriend or whatever it is going to cheat on you. And having that leads to you constantly be insecure, constantly questioning them, constantly like not trusting them. And like someone not being trusted is a horrible feeling in a relationship. Like not feeling like the other person trusts that you are like loyal and honest and whatever is really, really hard to take, especially if you are. And so that, and then also an unrealistic expectation. So expecting relationships to be like movies and to be like, it's just not realistic. Like that's not how relationships are, especially long-term ones. Yes, you can maybe have like a little summer romance and it's like this whirlwind of like romance or whatever, but like it's not realistic for a long-term relationship. That's just not how life is. It's just not, and that's just reality. And so I think sometimes it is very common. It does seem to be usually in women or girls, like there's this unrealistic expectation that we get from movies and from shows and stuff. And I do think that's like reducing in terms, like I don't know if it's as common as it maybe used to be, but that's definitely an area I think that can cause issues within relationships and can, yeah, lead to issues. So I think that's my advice, is to just take the relationship as a relationship and just like base everything that you, so base like, for example, how you react to something happening or your previous experiences within that relationship. Does that make sense? It's like base it just on the relationship. Don't base it on either like general stuff you've heard around, like even just from other people or from previous relationships you've had or whatever. Just base it on solely the person and the experience, because you can never really give a relationship a proper shot unless you actually base it on that. Does that make sense? I feel like I maybe blabbered a lot there. By the way, I just used my bronzer. It's the Mua bronzer. It's alright. I really wanted to get the Chanel one, which is a bit bougie, I realized. And then I'm using my, I always forget the name of these brushes. I don't know what they're called. Real Techniques brushes. I used the Rebel Edge broad one usually on my cheeks because it's a really nice big one, and then I use the Rebel Edge medium, and I usually actually put bronzer in under my eyes as well, which I love doing because it's kind of like a way of doing eyeshadow without actually doing eyeshadow. And then I'm gonna just put on some blush. I used to never wear blush and I've got really into blush recently. I really want to get some of the iconic London like liquid blush. I just think they look so cool. So then I'm just using my Max Factor one. It's just Max Factor, I don't know, cream puff blush in Gorgeous Berries. It's such a lovely color actually. And then this is my Real Techniques 400 blush brush, and it's so lovely, and I just love blush. I've got so into it. So then another actually question that I got about in regards to like advice and stuff was, someone said that they think of going back to university but they're really afraid that they won't be able for it, which is, you can do it, girl, you can do it. That makes me so sad that you think you can't do it. Of course you can. You can do anything you put your mind to. I actually genuinely believe that. Like, I know it's so easy to get like bogged down by things and to be like, oh, maybe I can, maybe I can. Like, especially like, I assume when you say you're going back to university, you've probably been before. And to be honest, I 100% understand the fear of that, because like the fear for me, like, oh gosh, imagine going back to university, like studying and all that stuff. And I think it's one of those things, like, the thought of it is more worse than the actual reality of it. Like, you would be so able for it. I think, girl, you should go for it, especially if it's something you want to do. If it's something you're thinking about, it means it's something that you're excited about. It means it's something you want to do. So go for it. Like, you deserve everything that you put your mind to, and you deserve to go for those things. And you know what, like, there's always those situations where it's so easy to just like be like, oh no, I'm not gonna be able to do it, and then just not do it. Like, even if you think like, I thought about doing this YouTube channel for such a long time, like probably a year or two. I was like, oh, I should do it, and I was like, no. And I would only ever say to him, like, I don't think I even told Darren that I want to do it for ages, and I've been thinking about it for a long time. And like, it's it's going pretty well, but like it's not exactly like I'm not like I haven't blown up or something. And so like some people would think, oh, you've not even done that well. Like does that make sense? Whereas for me, like it's something I really love doing, like I really enjoy it and I'm passionate about it, and I just really enjoy it. Like I have such like a drive to make videos and like post on my Instagram and all those things, like create photos. Like I just really enjoy creating and like being creative, doing photos, doing videos, and I just really love it. And like it's something I really, really enjoy doing. And so if it's something you really want, then just do it, and like don't let fear, because actually fear is a thing that ends up holding you back and ends up like making you like, oh, fear is the worst. Fear is actually the worst thing because it holds you back from like so much. So my advice would be to actually just go for it. Like I know that's maybe like a really like, oh yeah, that's such an easy thing to say, just go for it. But seriously, like when it comes to like doing something, so like I suppose obviously I don't know what you're looking at. Is it that like you feel like you should go back? Is it feel like you really want to go back? If you really want to go back and you really want to do a certain degree or a certain course, like if you want that, then do it. Just go for it. Like go for the things that you're dreaming about. Go for those things. Like I don't think I used to be like this. I don't think I used to be such a person to be like, just go for the things that you want and like go and achieve the things that you want to achieve. But like I genuinely just believe that if you don't just strive for the things that you love, then, well, also then like no one's going to give them to you. Do you know? Like no one's going to, and no one's going to get you there like themselves. So girl, I know you're nervous. I know it's hard, especially when you get a little bit older, because obviously when you're younger, it's kind of like the natural progression. You go to college, blah, blah, blah. But you got this. Like I believe in you. I believe in you. You can do it. Genuinely. I think you are able for it. I know that you are. So just go for it. Dream big. Strive for your best and just enjoy it and just do it. Seriously, I know I'm getting like ridiculously excited, but just I think since starting my YouTube channel and everything, I feel like I'm just so much like more of a believer of just going for the things that you want, no matter what people think, no matter what people say, no matter how well you do at the start, or if it takes you ages, or if you're still going 2 years later and struggling through it. But if it's something you enjoy and it's something you want, then do it. That's literally it. Anyway, I just put on some highlighter. I actually have stopped wearing highlighter as much, but I thought I'd just go for it for you guys. This is the what's this one by? Face Studio Chrome Extreme Metallic Highlighter. I actually have a cotton wool bud in it so that it doesn't like break up. And it's by Maybelline. It is actually so good. I love this highlighter, and it's also so cheap. It's I definitely think it's one of like the best drugstore highlighters, because I've tried a lot and they're pretty terrible. Right, so I think that's mainly, oh gosh, I'm very sweaty. And my thing, I'm gonna just put on some, it's just some Mua, it's like a mattifying fixing spray after, which I quite like putting on. I just feel like it kind of, it just like makes me feel a bit like fresh again or something. I actually usually put it on before I do all my extra things, but I just quite like it. Right, so then I'm gonna just do my eyes with my palette. This is like the blank canvas one. I got this years ago. I use it literally all the time. I've never really had any other eyeshadow palette, which I realize is not the coolest thing in the world, but hey. Right, so then let me actually see were there any other, I think I kind of like talked about quite a few, because I think a few of you asked about relationships and cheating and stuff. There was a few questions on that. Then there were some random kind of questions. Oh yes, there was quite a few of you guys asking about like spring and spring wardrobes and outfits and my kind of recommendations for like the essentials for spring. I'm actually doing a styling video next week on the trench coat, because trench coat is 100% has to be my #1 essential for spring, like a trench coat. Because, well, okay, I live in Ireland, and in Ireland it is not warm in springtime. It's just not warm. Like, it's not warm here. Most days you're still gonna need a coat, and something like a trench coat is the perfect one because it's not thick and warm. It's still really it's like quite like a thin coat, I suppose you could say, but it's still an extra layer. Excuse me. It's still an extra layer, so it's a really nice option. And it's just like the perfect, oh, I just love it. I got a new one recently from ASOS and I am obsessed with it. I think it is the coolest thing. It goes with so many different outfits and I just think it's class. So trench coat is 100% number one, without a doubt. Another thing recently that I've got quite into, what am I saying? Pastels. Pastels are like, sorry, I'm gonna try to do my eye here and my mirror's down here. It's gonna just be hard to do, but pastels are like a must. Are like a 100% must. Pastels are like the spring color and I've got so into it, as you can see with my pastel yellow. And I'm very into like pastel blues, pastel pinks, like lilacs. Oh, like I'm a neutral girl, but for pastels, I would become colorful for you. Oh gosh, look, I just like put it right in the middle of my eye. Pastels are a definite must. I think things like little jumpers, cardigans, those kind of things in pastels is a perfect way to add a bit of kind of spring color to your wardrobe, because it's also something you kind of wear again and again each year as well. I suppose then mainly just like a blue jean. Like a blue jean is such a spring essential, because as we come into spring, like I feel like blue jeans are so much easier to style as we come into kind of spring, summer times, because overall like our wardrobes kind of just get a little bit lighter and a little bit more whites and stuff come in. One other thing actually I recently got, which although I do quite like, I don't think it's like my number one fave, but it is definitely one of those ones I've seen become very popular in springtime, and that's loafers. I have a pair of loafers from Zara, like last year I'm gonna say, maybe even the year before, which I really love. They're very similar. They're kind of like a dupe for like the Gucci ones, but obviously like the Gucci ones are like nearly €1,000, which, let's be real, I not be having the money for something like that. Like, who has €1,000 to spend on a pair of shoes? And if you are, please hit me up. Like, you can buy me €1,000 worth of pair of shoes, because I don't know. Yeah, can't do it. But they're really lovely and dupe for it, and they go so nicely with so many things. They're a really nice way to kind of spring up an outfit. And obviously, as it gets a bit cooler, I mean warmer, the bit warmer, it's an option because you can kind of have your feet out a bit more. Obviously sandals, I really love kind of the mixture of sandals into kind of like a warmer outfit. Does that make sense? Like, for example, say like a full length trouser, like a wide leg trouser with like a blazer. You can even go like a turtle, maybe not a turtleneck, that might look a bit too wintry. And then like a sandal. I don't know, there's something cool about like the mixture of it, like a very much like a chunky sandal, like the whole chunky dad sandal vibe that's in, or else like the chunky flip-flop vibe with like a wide leg jean and like a blazer. Is such a nice outfit for spring. And I think, yeah, jeans, like light wash jeans are definitely one of those ones that is so essential for springtime. I'm trying to think what else. I really should have prepared this answer beforehand. I'm trying to think of the things that I'm going to be bringing out. Definitely my blazers, actually. I wear blazers throughout the year, 100%, but I think spring is like when they literally like come to life, because springtime, a lot of the time you can wear them by themselves, where obviously in the winter you'd wear a blazer, but you kind of need a coat on top as well. But springtime, they come into their own. They are like, oh, so good. You guys know me, I am a huge blazer lover. I definitely want to grow my blazer collection. I have, actually, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to, oh yay, I'm gonna gotta bring out my white linen blazer. Oh, so beautiful. I actually washed my white linen blazer though, which was a really bad idea because it's meant to be only dry clean. So that's not really ideal. So that's kind of an issue. Right, I'm gonna do my mascara and then I will keep chatting to you because I can't really chat and mascara at the same time. Alright, so I've just done my mascara and I've just filled in, kind of done a brief fill in my brows. So I'm just gonna use, so my mascara, the mascara I use actually let me do a little zoom in for you guys. So you guys can kind of see. Right, so it's maybe not zoomed in enough, but I absolutely love this mascara. The mascara I use is the Max Factor Masterpiece Max, and I absolutely love it. It's really, really good. I really like the bristle on it. The bristle is like a really nice kind of like rubbery one, so it doesn't like put on loads, because I really hate the ones that go like super clumpy, and I like super thick and clumpy. I just really, really don't like them, because I just feel like it always leaves my lashes just looking really like stuck together, which is just not my kind of vibe. Then I use the Mua Brow Define Micro Precise Eyebrow Pencil. It is so cheap and so good. I used to use one by Max Factor, which was like 15 euro or something, and that one's like 3 euro, and it is just as good, if not better, than that one. And I really love the like preciseness of it. It makes it kind of just easier to fill them in really kind of more naturally. And then I use the Benefit Brow Setter. Stuff's amazing. I actually really want to try the Refi one by your one, what's her name? Her name's gone out of my head now. Your one who owns Refi. She's like huge, and she's got the most amazing brows in the world. And she apparently has, well, she has a company called Refi that has the most beautiful stuff. Their stuff just looks amazing. But also apparently, let me actually zoom in again. Let's go out of my face being so zoomed in. Apparently the brow gel that she has is incredible, so I would love to try that. But yeah, that's kind of everything. That's kind of like my general day-to-day kind of look that I might, well, not really day-to-day, it's maybe a bit more than my day-to-day at the moment, especially. Actually, my skin has kind of done a little breakout again recently, which is a bit annoying, but so I might just do fill in a couple of those, because I realized I just kind of didn't do them earlier. But yeah, that's kind of my makeup look. They're done. Let me actually check, did I miss any questions? I'm sure I missed a few, but I hope my advice was something useful, hopefully. I realized I kind of ended up just babbling a lot about literally not very many different things, but I really hope you guys enjoyed. There's my makeup all done now. Thanks for joining me for a little chat. I actually love chatting to you guys, and as you know, I'm a great chatter. Like, I could just chat a lot. But yeah, guys, I really, really hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.